Hi there, intrepid viewers. Now, you may or may not have noticed when you clicked on this video, there were no ads. And that's because I have a couple of things to say today that involve, you call it cursing, we call it swearing. I couldn't actually speak of these things without swearing. And the first one of those is the Australian vaccine rollout. It has been such a monumental screw up. I just can't bear to think about it, So, as it fails to roll out, why hasn't our Prime Minister, Scotty from Marketing, got on the phone to America, and gone, hello, this is Australia. Yeah, we're the country that have backed you in every ill-conceived military venture you've come up with in the 20th century. We've been there with our hands up, coalition of the willing. So can you please send us a refrigerated military plane with some vaccines? Because your people don't get it and don't seem to want them. It's basic stuff. Now, there's been a couple of jewels during the week. One of them has to be the Rand Paul thing. So again, why I'm not monetarizing this video, because I have to quote it. And so I'm sure most of you have seen it. A woman was invited to the town hall with Rand Paul. She attended. They said, next question, please. And she stood up and said, hi, I'm a proud Kentucky woman, or wherever they're from, and I just want to tell you to get fucked. I was refreshed. I thought, how succinct. She said it all in a sentence. You've got to love that. And then you have the Arizona audit, sorry to laugh, the fraudit, as some are calling it. And I want to have a look at that. So you guys seem to like the circus tarot, so I'm going to use that, because if ever there was a circus, it is the Arizona audit. How long since the election? 8 months? Whatever. It's obvious. Two things. One, they haven't found anything, or they would have announced it. Secondly, they weren't smart enough to even do a decent fraudulent sort of job of pretending they'd got this stuff. And it just seems to be limping along. When are they going to draw a line in the sand? How's it going to impact GOP voters? So let's look at that. Okay. Have a little look here. The Arizona audit. Oh, my word. Oh, you've got to love tarot. Well, it's not going especially well, you'd have to say. Quelle surprise. They've gone quiet with the hermit in the dark. They're still fostering illusions. Let me move this. Remember last video, my video was balanced on a pile of lemons. Now it's on a pile of recipe books. They're still holding out this illusion, delusion, because it's all this short-term thinking with everything. We'll just keep it going. As long as it's going, people can have hope. If you're a Trump cult member and you're a paid-up devotee to this sort of hideous, amoral creature, excuse me, you can keep the fantasy going. That's all they're doing. And the Five of Swords, look at this picture. The Five of Swords. They're not, the swords aren't even straight in this. you know, and this is a card of ruthlessness and one thing, but also people turning away in shame and tears. Does that not say it all, intrepid viewers? You know, so they're going to keep pretending for some time yet. Well, they'll be able to pretend until August 13, one would think, and I'll look at that in a minute. But before then, before I leave the circus, Kavanagh, the FBI admitted they had 4,500 comments and criticisms from the public about why Kavanagh was not fit to be a Supreme Court pick. And they failed to investigate those. Naughty, leg smack for the FBI there. They have now handed over these 4,500 tips to Congress. So full marks to Linda G on this. Right from the minute Kavanagh was confirmed and we all went, she said, no, I think Kavanagh's going to go. So she said that right from the beginning. So I want to see what the cards say about whether these will translate into something big enough to pull him down. Okay. Kavanagh. Here we go. Happy days. Oh, well, here you have it. Now, the 10 of Cups. If you're reading for normal people, the 10 of Cups is, you know, the culmination of a cycle and filled with emotional joy and satisfaction at having arrived at this point in your life. Well, it's certainly the end of a cycle. But my thing, for those of you learning tarot, I've always had a problem with this card, which is normally, you know, the little house on the prairie couple. And I've always called it performing happiness, not really feeling it, but performing it. So that's what he's doing. I'm okay. I'm okay. He's actually on a tightrope. And this is going to be a monumental challenge for him. Will he have support? No, he's going to be completely isolated in this as the crap comes down. Oh, it's so liberating to be able to speak. As the crap comes down, he's going to be more and more isolated, both by his other judges, but wider afield. Oh, he could lose it. I just heard he could lose his law license. It could be that dramatic. Oh, could that be the case? One can only hope. But last card, the Death card. I think Kavanagh's done like a dinner. Go, Linda G. Go, Linda. Okay. Now, there's so much to cover. I barely know where to start here. Oh, in other events during the week, this was extraordinary. The James Madison Academy, wherever that is, invited an NRA head honcho to speak to their students about the Second Amendment and why it's wonderful. And when he got there to speak, they had put out 3,044 empty chairs representing the 3,044 children who have died in the last 12 months from guns. It was a brilliant thing to do, and it's worth looking up online. Who are they? James Madison Academy. And you see him on the stage, looks like normal, and then the camera pans back to all these empty chairs. Good on them. Very brave. And that doesn't even include the 15,000 children who were injured in gun incidences in the last 12 months. I would just say, not for the first time, intrepid viewers, these are not normal numbers for a civilized society. They are not. They are not. I doubt these numbers would be met in many countries in the third world. It's absolutely mind-bending how this has got to this stage, you know. So, now I want to have a look. I'm working up to the January 6th Commission, but in the meantime, more revelations about Kushner. Yeah, the pattern, he bought 666 Fifth Avenue. Who would buy a property called 666 anything? I mean, really? Okay. Now, this is a guy, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, intrepid viewers, but I think I read somewhere years ago that Kushner Enterprises, that's the criminal father and the criminal Kushner Jr., have over 15,000 rental properties in New Jersey, and they're notorious for being slumlords or bad landlords and stuff. And when they want people out to put the rent up, they'll hire illegal workers. Don't you love it with these GOP types? They fight tooth and nail for laws against illegal workers and legal people coming in, and they're the ones who employ them. They're the cooks and the gardeners and the au pairs and the agricultural workers and, you know, the bodgy construction guys who can pay them half the price of anyone else. They're the ones who employ them. The hypocrisy is boundless. But not content with having the rental from 15,000 properties, he had to buy 666. He bought it for 1.8 billion back in the day. Then his father, the felon, Charles Kushner, went to Qatar to get a loan to help out the family. And the Qataris actually said no, because the most fundamental maths would show you that it wasn't a good arrangement and they weren't good at paying debts. So Qatar said no. Well, they paid a big price because Kushner, then as son-in-law to 45, supported the blockade with Saudi. He had his grubby little digits all over that, and they actually blockaded an entire country because baby Kushner screwed up. It's appalling. Absolutely appalling. Tom, we want to call him Barack after Barack Obama, but I think it's pronounced Barack, really. Tom Barack. He even said to them, this wasn't a good idea because of conflict of interest. Now, he's been blamed for monies that have gone AWOL. Now, we've talked before about the inaugural funds. Just for the inaugural event, more money raised than any other president in history. And then 117 million went missing. Oh. Okay, we know that, but that's not even talking about the 200 million that went missing from campaign funds. And Trump blamed everybody, of course. It's never him on that. So I just want to have a look here at whether this, with all the things that are going on behind the scenes, whether Kushner is going to be in trouble over this. Let's see about Kushner. Oh, I'll share with you, viewers. It's been leaked. Okay, all these people thought they had back channels to Russia, Saudi, everywhere, but at least your CIA has managed to crack the back channels. And what they found was, what did the Saudis really think? Well, they assessed Kushner and the whole arrangement of the Yeti and everyone. They had no clue about politics. They understood that. They also said they had a transactional mindset on the Middle East generally, and they were unimpressed by Kushner's proposal for a resolution between Israel and Palestine that in fact didn't include the Palestinians at all. They just forgot to ask them to the table. So they were not impressed by this, but because they in turn, you know, not the most ethical of people at the top, and they thought, these are simpletons, they're political children, and we can milk this for all we can. And they did. And I want to see what sort of doo-doo Kushner's in as we speak. Kushner. Someone's phone's going off, but it's not mine. Ooh, creepy. Very creepy. He gets, it's funny, I was describing him, they'd assessed him as being a juvenile player in all this, and he gets all these cards about children. First of all, he gets the Page of Wands, and in this, it's a really not nice image here. You have the chained elephant. And if you think of the elephant in the Republican Party itself is chained to Kushner's bad behaviour. I hadn't thought about that. There he is, the young thing, leading the Republican Party into these mega illegal international deals. And in the early days when there was, you know, McMaster and Rex Tillerson and everyone, they couldn't believe what Kushner was getting away with. And they were concerned. But of course, then the others went to Moscow, which has to mean compromise. So they're all being dragged into this. Page of Coins, the young one in the family, dreaming and thinking about money. That's all he does, you know. Then he gets the Four of Pentacles, which is holding on to your money. See, this is the thing with rich people, isn't it, intrepid viewers? They never spend their own money. It's true across the world. The richer you are, the less you spend on anything, because the big jewelers want you to wear their jewelry. The big designers want you to wear their clothes and everything. And you pay your domestic staff really badly and all of that. This is holding on to what will be left of his money. He is in trouble. There's no doubt he's in trouble. And we talked last week about how clowns are seriously creepy and to some extent frightening the little girl. And so in this context of this reading, this is about, he's been groomed since birth in the image of his criminal father. So not that that's an excuse, but there we go. Now, I think the other absolute delight of the week, I'm sure you've seen it viral, when Tucker Carlson, you know, the middle-aged frat boy, got bailed up in a hardware store or something in Minnesota or somewhere by a guy who described him as the worst human being in the world. Now, there's a title. Awesome. And he's one of the worst, that's for sure. And you could bet your house he's vaccinated. This is the thing. Oh, I want to know, let me move to my normal cards. I want to know, when are we going to see some legal cases coming forward about Fox and or Tucker Carlson specifically, and Fox generally, over people whose family members have died because they've had Fox on 24/7 for 4 years and they are now dead of COVID. Let's not dress it up. So I want to know, are there going to be civil legal challenges to the demonic Fox and the epic satanic Tucker Carlson? Are there going to be court cases around this? Are there going to be court cases around this? Let's look, come on down. Listen, leadership. No. Well, I'd say the answer to that is yes, and it will translate into payouts. So someone will do it. This is the new leader, but in this case, I think it'll be someone leading. There could even be I hadn't thought of this, there could even be a class action on this, where people get in touch with each other and 30 people or 2,000 people join together to actually take them on. Oh my word, wouldn't that be interesting? But this, if not a class action, then it's someone who is very telegenic. Sorry, I just heard a shriek from the lounge room. The Olympics are on, and I think that shriek means Australia just won a gold medal in something. Okay. See, this is the thing. With all these people who deny COVID, why do they think the whole world had to cancel the Olympics and, you know, there's no crowds there or something? You know, does it not cross their mind? Anyway, back to Fox and Tucker Carlson. This is someone who becomes the figurehead of a movement legally. Now, this is their disappointment over the station, but also Tucker Carlson sowing the seeds of confusion, not being able to make a sensible decision, being deluded. It's the card of delusion and illusion and all the illusions, you know, like. And I think they'll get a payout. It's the slow and steady night. If they started a legal case tomorrow, it would take probably 4 years for it to go through the system. So it won't be quick. The Knight of Pentacles is never quick, but gets there in the end. Good job. Okay. Now, I want to have a look at the January 6th hearing, which starts tomorrow. I think the first one's up, Capitol Hill Police. That'll be my Wednesday, your Tuesday. Okay, so what is my actual question? Well, let's go general. The January 6th Commission. Look, it's going to take a while to play out, but everyone's vested in it, you know, having an end and a result. So I'm going to go a bit more general. Okay. What spread am I going to use for this? Okay. All right. January 6th Commission. January 6th Commission. Why are the Democrats so bad at being bad? All this time, they should have had a mashup of all the Republicans immediately after it happened, when they all went, including, I think, Kevin McCarthy and people saying this was a terrible thing to have happened. This is an outrage. This is, we have to get to the bottom of this. And put them all together. So the hypocrisy of saying now, oh, no, we don't really want to commission, is on full display. Why isn't that everywhere? Why isn't it a meme? Perhaps some of the more technical among you could do it. Put it out there on TikTok or something. I've no idea what the latest thing is. So let me keep going here. The January 6th Commission. What's going to happen with the January 6th Commission? It's so important. Okay, here we go. Wow. Wow. Already. Oh my God. Oh, that is fascinating. Now, the very first card, let me do this so you can see them better. The hostage card. I think this is symbolizing the lawmakers of America were literally held hostage on this day. They were under desks. They were being smuggled out by Secret Service. They would have been terrified, and they were. And I think this is at the heart of the matter. What's across it, or the challenge for that, is the steal. Why did this happen was because of the stupid, belligerent, narcissistic fantasy of the Yeti. I couldn't possibly have lost, so it must be a steal, you know, This was exactly why it happened. The cards speak. Now, there's really good cards coming up here for a good result, let me tell you. This is the Page of Swords. This is the individual members of Congress with their swords raised, and they're going to be very eloquent speakers, right? The upset and outrage will be on display, the righteous outrage of the Page of Swords. Here we have the Queen of Swords, Justice. I digress for a moment, viewers. One of the viewers did comment that we've been talking for years about the woman who brings Trump down, and that it could be Lady Justice who brings him ultimately undone. And I like that idea. All right. Anyway, here she is, Lady Justice. Overarching the whole little spread is strength, taming the beast. This is about real strength, real focus, real discipline, real fortitude, fighting from the heart. From the heart. Outcome. Ace of Swords spearing the crown. This is through, and I can say it today instead of having to fudge it, this is known in the tarot world colloquially as the cutting through the bullshit card. Here it is. Here it is. So I really hope everyone will be glued to their various devices as this unfolds. Well, phew, I'm suddenly wired but exhausted. So I'm going to leave you now, but not for long. And the next one I'm going to do in a few days, I really want to look at August 13. Mr. MyPillow, who's spectacularly well qualified to have an opinion on anything other than pillows, not. I mean, what is going on? He has said, as if he'd know, Biden's going to resign on August 13 and Trump's going to sweep back into power. And that's led on social media to all these memes about President Pelosi or President Kamala Harris or whatever. He doesn't even understand the basic mechanisms of his own country. And he wouldn't be alone in America about being massively ill-informed about his own supposed democracy. So, on that note, and I'll see you really so soon. You won't even know I've got